Welcome back to the 32 team franchise. It's been a long time, but hopefully, I'm interested in bringing it back. Hopefully, my interest stays and I don't quit a week into it or retire or whatever. So, we're just going to do so. Previously, when I last left off, I had it was 2014 season. I had played like the first 2 weeks, but we're just going to start from the start of the 2014 season. We're not going to use the progression tool this time. Last time I used the progression tool in the 2014 season for the first time. I think that also kind of led me to not want to play because we had some random corner for the Jaguars be a 99 overall and every team was stacked. It wasn't. I didn't like it. So I'm going to bring it back. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to go. I also tried this 2014 year. I was going to play full game. I was going to play the full game for every, how Doomhammer does it. But I'm going to go the way that how I did it and how Roaring did it when he had his. I'm just going to play offense only for the home team. In some games, if I feel like playing both sides of the ball, I will play both. Like the week one Patriot Colts game, opening game, I'll probably end up playing that one full game just because I want, that's the first game of the year. It's the Champions versus the Patriots AFC Championship rematch. It'll be a really fun game to play. So we're starting here in 2014 preseason. It's been a while. I forget some things. I assume if you guys are watching this video, you probably forget some things I want to know. So we're just gonna do a overview of the league and take a look at it. So, like I said, it's 2014. The last two Super Bowl champions were the Patriots in the first season and the Colts in the second season. So the AFC has represented both championships. Let's take a look at the rosters around the league. So we'll go position and then we'll go by team, I guess. I don't know. I'm just gonna talk. I'm just talk about the league. So you have Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is a two-time MVP. He is one of the 499 overalls. Matt Ryan is a 99 overall. He is 29 years old. Two-time MVP now. If you look at his numbers, pretty damn good. He broke the passing yard record in 2013. He's really freaking good. He got the largest contract in NFL history. Um, yeah, he is really damn good, and the Falcons are just really damn good. You have Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. So none of these guys, the top tier guys, have not changed rosters. You have 38-year-old Peyton Manning, Cam Newton, only 25. Andrew Luck, who is now a Super Bowl champion, not the Super Bowl MVP, because I went to Reggie Bush, but a Super Bowl champion. Philip Rivers, Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, who got a really big contract, and he had a really good. They were the first seed. That first year, they were the number one seed in the AFC. Joe Flacco had a really good year, 29-9, 3,300 yards, did everything he had to. Got paid, big contract. As you can see, it takes him all the way to 2019. Guaranteed money falls off after 2017 at least, so they probably could get out of that. And then less touchdowns, just barely any more yards, a way worse passer rating, way worse completion percentage, and a lot more interceptions. Went from a Pro Bowler to one of the worst quarterbacks, one of the most overpaid quarterbacks. So we'll see if he can bounce back here in 2014. You have RG3, who's a really young guy. Washington's head coach Bill O'Brien will be in his second season, and he's looking to get the most out of RG3 owner Jarek. Would like to see that. Had a really good second year compared to his rookie year. Didn't rush the ball as much, but I mean, 11,000 more yards or 1,100 more yards, more touchdowns, less interceptions, worse completion percentage, better passer rating. But I mean, Matt Stafford's here. He got hurt in that first year, if you remember. Russell Wilson, Alex Smith is a Chief. So he started, and a lot of people may know him as a Chief, but he started here with the 49ers. That first year he was with the 49ers. It was the last year there. Got benched for Colin Kaepernick after a few games. You can see the numbers weren't good. Last year was his first year with the Chiefs, and as you can see, it was really good. 4,500 yards, 43 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Um, yeah, Alex Smith is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL statistically based on last year with the Chiefs. He's in his second year there. The first big guy to move teams was Josh Freeman. He was the Buccaneers quarterback for 2 years. In the first year with the Bucks, they made the playoffs. They won the NFC South at 11-5. Second year had a down year, went 7-9. And he followed his offensive coordinator. His offensive coordinator was Dirk. Oh, I'm sorry. Dirk Cutter was the offensive coordinator of the Falcons, and he took the head coaching job of San Francisco from Jim Harbaugh, who's now the head coach of the Bears. And he went to San Fran on a pretty big deal, 6-year deal. And we'll see what he's all about. He had some pretty good years over the past 2 years. We'll see if that can continue with Dirk Cutter, who obviously Matt Ryan probably will miss because of the insane seasons he had. Andy Dalton, Tony Romo, Matt Schaub going in his second year with Bruce Arians and the Cardinals. Ben Roethlisberger, Jay Cutler, followed Lovie Smith from Chicago to Oakland. This will be Lovie Smith's first year as head coach there. I think actually a better way to do this would probably just be team by team. But I'm just talking here. But we will look at, I probably should give you guys a look at every team's, all the coaches in the league. So we'll start by division. So the AFC North, and we'll just talk about the teams. The AFC North, we'll start with the Bengals, is their head coach is obviously Marvin Lewis, and Marvin Lewis's legacy is, the guy that could just never get it done in the playoffs. He was never able to get it done in the playoffs. He never was able to win a playoff game in his career. But here in my world, he has won 3 playoff games. This past year, he was, I think I want to say he was in the AFC Championship game. Or, I mean, look, I could just pull it up here eventually. I have to scroll through all of this crap I put. This is free. I'm in free agency right now. Okay. Yes, so it was the AFC Championship game. They made the AFC. They were the 5 seed. So, because the Colts were the 6 seed, they won the Super Bowl last year. The Bengals were the 5 seed. They were a wild card team. Their record was 10-6, and they made the AFC Championship. So Marvin Lewis's legacy is already changed, and he's made the playoffs the past 2 years. He's probably going to be here for a long time now. So we'll see we'll see what happens there. But the Bengals are a good team. They are probably will be in the playoffs again. I see 2 winning seasons in the past 2 years. And these are all their combined records from the real life up to 2012, and then my added on. Then you get to Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Steelers. So in real life, once again, his legacy is he's never had a losing season. In 2012, the Steelers went 5-11. They weren't good, but the next year after that, they went 10-6, won the AFC North, and did not win a playoff game. They lost. They were the 3 seed. They lost their first game to the Indianapolis Colts, who ended up winning the Super Bowl. Mike Tomlin, the Steelers probably maybe will be in the playoffs. Obviously, you still have Baltimore, who now we'll get to. John Harbaugh, who in real life, his legacy is a Super Bowl champion, and he has not reached that. The first year of this franchise is when they won it in real life, but the Patriots won it. So Harbaugh, that first year they went 13-3, were the number 1 seed in the AFC. Second year they went 7-9, not great. So we'll see if they can bounce back in this season. And then you get to the Browns, Mark Trestman, who doubled his wins in his first year. They were 2-14 in the first year of the franchise under Pat Shermer, and then they went to 4-12 the second year. So we'll see what the Browns can do. Their quarterback is Brian Hoyer, so we'll see what they're going to be able to do. So that's the AFC North. AFC South, Gary Kubiak is with the Texans. So the first year, the Texans were a playoff team. They were 11-5 and won the AFC South. But who did they play? They played the Bengals in the wild card round that first year. Yes, I do remember that game. And the Bengals won that game, so they were one and done. Matt Schaub left. They're having a dispute about their contract. They weren't on the same page money wise. So Matt Schaub left, went to Arizona. They drafted Geno Smith in the first round, and let's talk about Geno Smith. Andrew Luck that his rookie year, broke almost every passing record. And then Geno Smith, the first round selection, 24th, I think broke all the records. Other than passing yards. I think he broke the touchdown record, completion percentage, and passer rating. I don't think he broke the yards. But Geno Smith was really, really good in his second season, or in his rookie season, was a Pro Bowler, and led the Texans to a 13-3 record. The Texans, what did they do in the playoffs? I can't remember. I'm going to look at it right now. The Texans were the other team that fell to the Bengals. So yeah, twice back-to-back years, the Bengals had beat the Texans. I do remember that, so that's a little rivalry going on, is Bengals versus Texans, because the Bengals had beat the Chargers in the first game. So that's the Texans. Chuck Pagano and the Colts. So Chuck Pagano that first year uh, had leukemia and was out for about from weeks 3 to the end of the year. So it was Bruce Arians as the interim head coach. They went 8-8 under Pagano and Arians that first season. But he comes back in 2013, the second year. The Colts go 10-6, were the 6th seed, last team to get in. It was between them and the Broncos. The Broncos did not get in the playoffs at 10-6 in the second season. And Chuck Pagano, they went on a crazy run. They beat the Steelers. They beat the Patriots, and then they beat the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl, and then where they beat the Eagles. Reggie Bush, first play of overtime. What a game that was. I do remember that one. And it was over. So the Colts are champs. Chuck Pagano's legacy is now a great story. The story I've been telling for ages. Had leukemia. Thought about retiring. They'll probably add some, crazy details just to make the story a little bit better. And then comes back and wins the Super Bowl in his first full year as head coach. The Titans, who were the worst team in the league in 2013 under Mike Munchak and interim head coach Greg Williams, hired former Vikings head coach Leslie Frazier. So Leslie Frazier was fired after 2012, after going 9-7 with the Vikings and missing the playoffs. He was fired. Vikings would hire Jim Caldwell, former Colts head coach, where they would actually regress to 6-10. So a 3-game difference there. And now he's back with the worst team in the NFL. They went and signed Carson Palmer. They drafted Derek Carr. So Leslie Frazier does kind of have a quarterback controversy on his hands. We'll see how he decides to handle it. Then you get the Chip Kelly for the Oregon. Who was going to get Chip Kelly? Who was going to land him? The Jaguars got him. First year at Jacksonville. Excuse me. The quarterback issue. There was a quarterback issue. There was Blaine Gabbert and Chad Henne. I think Chad Henne ended up starting majority of the year, and Blaine Gabbert started it a little bit. So Blaine Gabbert is kind of, he's done. But Chip Kelly went 3-13. Had a pretty good offseason. I want to remember the Jags had a pretty good offseason. They went and traded for Colin Kaepernick from San Francisco. So that is their quarterback, and it kind of fits Chip Kelly, what Chip Kelly is going to want to run there. So that will be fun to play as and a follow throughout the year to see what Chip Kelly can do now with his own selected quarterback. AFC East, Bill Belichick, obviously Patriots. So Patriots in the 2 seasons went 12-4 the first year, 13-3 in the second year, won the Super Bowl the first year, lost to the Colts the second year. They're really good. They have Tom Brady. They don't have Wes Welker anymore as he went to the Broncos after the first year there. Um, that in that Super Bowl, funny enough, Wes Welker does end up getting his ring in real life. He was one of the Patriots in the era from '07 to 14. That era where we never won a Super Bowl. But in this, he has a Super Bowl ring. He has a championship with the Patriots that first year, but he was hurt. He did not play in the playoffs, and that goes to show that how valuable was he? Had a really good year with the Broncos last year though, so we won't discredit him too much. Really good player, but he is a Super Bowl champ, but wasn't on the field for the Super Bowl. That has to be heartbreaking. Although he was part of the reason why they were the 1 seed or the 2 seed at 13-3 that first year. We all know the Patriots. We all know Belichick. We don't have to get too much into it. Chan Gailey, the Bills head coach, who was fired in real life after the 2012 season, but he is still the head coach because of the first year they went 10-6, made the playoffs, lost their first playoff game. I think it was against the Broncos. The Broncos beat them, and second year went 8-8. So it was a little bit of a regression, but they had a rookie quarterback in EJ Manuel because Ryan Fitzpatrick was traded to the Titans mid-season, I want to say. But yeah, he's on the hot seat. He probably has to make the playoffs if he wants to stay, but it is the Bills, so we'll see what happens. Jets have Rex Ryan. So Rex Ryan and the Jets first year went 5-11 under Mark Sanchez, and the second year went 8-8. So improvement. This is another. He's on the hot seat. This is a year. He probably needs to make the playoffs. Obviously, we know when he does make the playoffs, he has never missed an AFC Championship game. He is 2 for 2 going to the AFC Championship. But we'll see what he's able to do, and this will be his I think 5th season as the Jets head football coach. And oops. So that is the Jets, and then the last team in the AFC East is the Rick Dennison-led Dolphins. So this is their first year under the former Texans offensive coordinator. They had, what is his name? I can just look at my spreadsheet here. The Dolphins head coach, Joe Philbin. Yes, Joe Philbin. Let me make sure that was his name. Yes, Joe Philbin for the Dolphins was the head coach for the past 2 seasons, the first and second year. The first year they were 8-8. The second year they were 6-10. Um, so he was out of there. It's Rick Dennison who did wonderful things with Geno Smith and the Texans, and will look to hopefully resurrect what looks to be a pretty bad Ryan Tannehill career through 2 seasons. AFC West. So John Fox is, even though he has proven himself to be a really good head coach, did it with Carolina, and I think this is his going to be his third year with Denver. Has proven to be a pretty good head coach. Did make that Super Bowl back in 2004, 2005, but they missed the playoffs last year. They were 10-6, and that team was really, really good. Wes Welker, Demaryius Thomas, Peyton Manning, Knowshon Moreno, really good defense. They missed the playoffs at 10-6. They were the first team out. First year they went 10-6 and made the playoffs and lost to the Patriots. So John Fox needs to probably step up his game. If they went 10-6 and missed the playoffs again, it would probably be hard justifying firing him, just because that probably means, hey, the AFC was pretty good. But if this team, disappoints, he could be out. So Lovie Smith and the Raiders, this is their first year together. The Raiders head coach was Dennis Allen, but he was fired after a 6-10 year and a 4-12 year. Lovie Smith got fired in real life was fired after going 10-6 and missing the playoffs in 2012. But in the first year of our franchise, 2012, the Bears were 11-5, won the NFC North, and were pretty good. But the second year they went 8-8, missed the playoffs, and Lovie Smith, Jay Cutler, they were all out. So he went to the Raiders, succeeding Dennis Allen and brought over a lot. I mean a lot of Bears. Jay Cutler, Brian Urlacher, some other guys. Ed Reed also came to the Raiders. So the Raiders could be a sneaky team. They got some good veterans, some good players on that team. So we'll see what's able to get done there. Mike McCoy, head coach of the Chargers, um, formerly the Broncos offensive coordinator. He was able to lead them to the playoffs in his first season, where they lost to, I think it was the Bengals in the wild card round. So this will be his second year, formerly the Broncos offensive coordinator, and we'll see what he's able to do. Gus Bradley, Seahawks defensive coordinator, succeeds Romeo Crennel, who was fired after a 9-7 and 8-8 season. Um, and Gus Bradley has a really good offense. One of the best offenses in the league last year, like we went over earlier, Alex Smith. Hopefully, he's able to get that defense to the point where they can go and make the playoffs. So that is the AFC. That is a look at all the teams and the AFC. Then we get to the NFC. NFC North. Mike McCarthy and the Packers. First year, I think they want to say that. Now they made the playoffs at 9-7. Were the sixth seed. Yes, they were sixth seed, and they lost to the Bears in the wild card round. It was disappointing year after going 15-1 the year previous. And then the year before that, they won the Super Bowl as the sixth seed. So there was high expectations for them, even as a 9-7 sixth seed last or 2 seasons ago, to try to make a run because when they won the Super Bowl, they were a sixth seed. And Mike McCarthy and the Packers went 12-4 the second year, and who did they lose to? The Packers. They were the 2 seed, I want to say. I can just check. The Packers were 12-4. And they lost to the Saints. Yes, they lost to the Saints. The Saints ended up going to the NFC Championship because Sean Payton had come back from his suspension. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. They lost in the divisional round to the Saints, who were the 6th seed. Not great. Oh, they were the 1 seed. They were the 1 seed. Yeah, they were the 1 seed. The Giants were the 2 seed. Yeah, they were the 1 seed last year, and they lost the 6th seed, the Saints, in the divisional round by the Giants and the Packers. Jim Caldwell is the former head coach of the Colts, now in his second year with the Vikings. Really bad first year. They went 6-10, had a lot of high expectations. Christian Ponder looked to be a franchise quarterback. And then Jim Caldwell came around and doesn't look like a franchise quarterback anymore. So we'll see what happens there with the Vikings. Jim Harbaugh in his first year with the Bears, former 49ers. 49ers were really good under Harbaugh, only never had a losing season. And in real life, never had a losing season. But here, the first year they went 8-8, and the second year they went 5-11. He was fired, but with poor quarterback play, he comes to the Giants or he comes to the Bears, where he selected, I think it was Teddy Bridgewater, I think is who they ended up landing. So he was going to be their starting quarterback, and we'll see what. I mean, this is it for him. This is Chicago. This is probably his last chance if he doesn't do very good. He'll probably just go back to college, where he was very successful at Stanford, but we'll see what happens. Then Matt Patricia and the Lions, the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. His first year, the Lions had Jim Schwartz over the past 2 years, where they went 7-9 in both seasons. So Patricia, we'll see if he can improve on that. Like we were just talking about, the Saints and Sean Payton, former Super Bowl champion, was suspended because of Bountygate in the first season, where the Saints went 8-8. And the second season, they went 10-6, were the 6th seed in the NFC, beat the Falcons in the first round of the playoffs, but then would go on to lose to and then beat the Packers, like I said, and then would go on to lose to the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. So lots of eyes on the Saints to try to go back, although they did lose Jimmy Graham. Mike Smith, Falcons head coach. Ignore the playoff wins and losses because it really should be 0-5 right there. Mike Smith has been in the playoffs every single year. I want to say he's been Falcons head coach. Has not won a playoff game. He's on the hot seat. They could go 16-0, but if they don't win a playoff game, probably a good chance he's going to be fired. Two-time MVP Matt Ryan seems to be being wasted away in his prime, and they're not on that small contract anymore. He's the highest paid player in NFL history, the biggest contract in NFL history. So he needs to start winning games so he can not waste Matt Ryan. Greg Schiano and the Buccaneers. First year playoff team will actually beat the Falcons in the playoff game. Second year 7-9, not great. New quarterback. Who is their quarterback? Oh, their quarterback is the Buccaneers. Chad Henne. Chad Henne's their quarterback. I'm gonna go check something real quick. Did I? That doesn't seem right. I think I might have put something down. No. Oh, they drafted. Okay, yes, they drafted Jonathan Football. Yes. Okay, now I remember. So the Buccaneers and Greg Schiano drafted Johnny Manziel. I think it was the 14th, 13th, 12th pick. 12th pick, yeah. But they also signed Chad Henne. I think it was a 4-year, $84 million deal. Because Chad Henne did have a good year. Yeah, he did have a good year, but 57% completion percentage, not great. A 3-year, $66 million deal, it looks like. So Chad Henne and Johnny Manziel are the Buccaneers quarterbacks. It's only a matter of time before we go and see Johnny Manziel get starts for the Buccaneers. And then you have Adam Gase, 1-year offensive coordinator. So the Broncos will have their third offensive coordinator in 3 years because Adam Gase and Mike McCoy the past 2 years have been hired. So Adam Gase is the Panthers' new head coach. Carolina under Ron Rivera this past 2 years just weren't able to get it done. They went 7-9 this past year, and the year before that, they were 7-9. Ron Rivera out as head coach. Adam Gase in as head coach. Can't wait to see what he's able to do with Mr. Cameron Newton. NFC East, Tom Coughlin, we know who that is. 2-time champ. Kind of grandfathered in there as head coach for probably as long as he wants to be. They went 12-4 last year. Lost to the Eagles in the divisional round. And then they lost to Andy Reid. Andy Reid, one of the best head coaches in the NFL, but is 0-3 in the big game. Has made the past 2 Super Bowls. Lost them both. Really good coach, but can't get it done when it matters most. Philly was the 1 seed, and the first year in the NFC, they went to 12-4 and was the 5 seed in the second year. Mike Vick's only getting older. Not going to be the same quarterback. We'll see what they're going to be able to do. Jason Garrett and the Cowboys. They need Jason Garrett probably on the hot seat. Well, I mean, first year they went 7-9 or 8-8. Second year late 9-6-1. So they are improving. So based on that, they should make the playoffs this year. They improve with 1.5 win. So that means they should probably win 10 games this year. But we'll see. Jason Garrett's obviously kept his job for a long time in real life. We'll see if he's able to do that here. And then Bill O'Brien for the Commanders, handpicked by owner Jarek. 7-9 in his first year, but the year before that, it was Mike Shanahan as head coach. They went 3-13. Wasn't good. So Bill O'Brien, hopefully, is going to be it. So they doubled his wins. Maybe he'll double it again. Take it to 12. We'll see. They could be, or that's not right. They did not go 6-10. They went 7-9. I don't know what's going on there. Let me check. I'm gonna check something. Because on my document here it says I have them down at 7-9, but in the game it has them at 6-10. So we'll see who's right. Well, the game is right. I am wrong. They did not go 7-9. They went 6-10. So yeah, they double their wins. And we'll see what he's going to be able to do in his second year with a even older and better, more experienced quarterback, RG3. Last division, NFC West, Jeff Fisher in his third year with the Rams. First year went 5-11. Second year went 6-10. With that, probably going to go 7-9 this year. Rams have Mr. Sam Bradford, who was hurt last year, I want to say. So we'll see what they are able to do. Pete Carroll and the Seahawks have been in the playoffs the past 2 years. Had a losing record last year, but still made the playoffs. Excuse me. They were in the NFC Championship game in year one under Russell Wilson. We'll see if they can get back in the playoffs and stay on top of the NFC West. Spoiler alert, I think they're gonna, because it's a really weak division. Bruce Arians and the Cardinals in his first year wasn't great. They won 4 games. They went from 2 wins to 4 wins. So he did double their wins, but 4-12 isn't great. They still have Matt Schaub, so we'll see if they are able to improve now that they have gotten some more weapons, got them a better defense as well. And then to round it off, first-year head coach Dirk Cutter with the 49ers. We talked about that earlier with Harbaugh. They went 8-8 and 5-11. It's a weak division. It's going to be probably between them and Seattle to win it, with probably around 9 or 10 wins. We'll see what happens, but I think Dirk Cutter can probably get Josh Freeman to play really damn good football. So that is all of the coaches and whatnot. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pull this. Just give me 1 second. No, okay, it's not gonna work. So, but we're just gonna take a look at. No, we're just gonna look at our rosters. So the Bears. This is the Jim Harbaugh Bears. Yes, they got Clay Matthews from the Packers. Matt Forte, Gabe Karimi, Brandon Marshall, Lance Briggs, Richie Incognito, Henry Melton, Julius Peppers. Their quarterback is Ryan Fitzpatrick and Teddy Bridgewater. So we'll see who's going to start there. Bengals, headlined by Geno Atkins, Andrew Whitworth, A.J. Green, and Andre Smith, are their 90 overalls and above. The Bengals' biggest issue, if I remember correctly, from the past 2 years was their lack of a run game. So I think they did. They went out and traded for Darren Sproles, quarterback Andy Dalton. Bengals 2-time playoff team, looking to make it 3. The Bills, only 90 plus overall, is Cordy Glenn, left tackle. Their quarterback is E.J. Manuel. You take a look at his numbers from his rookie season. Pretty good. 27-15, 3,800 yards, 23rd overall pick. We'll see what he's all about. Denver, really good team. Ryan Clady, Von Miller, Peyton Manning, all 90 plus. But then you have Orlando Franklin as your other tackle. Demaryius Thomas and Wes Welker, Zane Beadles. It's a good team. But will they be able to get over the hump, over the Patriots, over the Colts, to become a Super Bowl contender under Peyton Manning? Cleveland has 190 plus. That is Joe Thomas. And they also have another really good tackle in Mitchell Schwartz. Joe Hayden at corner. Trent Richardson, who had a pretty decent rookie year, I want to say. And then okay, 6 touchdowns in 2 years. Well, 11 if you count the receiving. Their quarterback is Brian Hoyer, who actually, if I want to say correctly, had a really good year last year. Yeah, he did. Brian Hoyer has kind of solidified himself as a pretty damn good quarterback. Buccaneers have 190 plus. That's Donald Penn, and we already looked at their quarterback situation. They have some good players. This team could be good again. Chad Henne and Johnny Manziel. Cardinals have Pat Pete and Larry Fitzgerald. Matt Schaub is their quarterback. They went out and signed Darrell Washington, I think. They have Calais Campbell. Chargers have 3. Eric Weddle, Phillip Rivers, and Jared Gaither. They have AG, Melvin Ingram. They drafted Lane Johnson a year ago. The Chiefs have Eric Berry, Jamal Charles, and Justin Houston. Jamal Charles is always a fun player to play with, but he can't stay healthy. If you look at his numbers, first year, played 4 games. Second year, played all 16. You look at the numbers, it was really good. And then you get to receiving. He had 2,000 yards from scrimmage and had 22 touchdowns. So we'll see what he is able to do if he can stay healthy again with an even better team. Yet Justin Houston, Brandon Albert, Tom Ali, really good team. They have DeAndre Hopkins, Alex Smith, and Travis Kelce. 1, 2, 3 superstar X factors on this team. The Chiefs are going to be really, really dang good. The Colts, who are the Super Bowl champions, only have 1 90 plus, and that's Andrew Luck. But a really well-rounded team. They have Super Bowl MVP Reggie Bush, Robert Mathis, who broke the sack record, only an 83 overall. I am gonna go around and adjust ratings to make it like Robert Mathis should be in the 90s. He was the defensive player of the year, not too in the first season. He broke the sack record, and I'm gonna guess that he actually had a pretty good year in the second year too. 14 and a half sacks, so not as good, but still pretty dang good. Cowboys have Tyron Smith, Dez Bryant, DeMarco Murray, who is hurt, has a fractured kneecap, and will miss the start of the year, the first week. Tony Romo's the quarterback there. Dolphins have Jake Long, and nothing really after that. Tyler Eifert, they drafted. Last year was his rookie year. They have Ryan Tannehill and John Skelton, who comes from Houston, follows Rick Dennis in there. Eagles have LaShawn McCoy and Darrelle Revis. Yes, they did go and trade Darrelle Revis. I remember that. They traded 2 firsts and a second, maybe? Or a first and a second for Darrelle Revis, who was really good. This is his second season with the Eagles. Had 7 picks his first year with them. He was really good. But like I said, this team, Michael Vick isn't getting any older or any younger. He's down to 74 overall at 34 years old, so we'll see what he's all about. Atlanta has Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Tyson Calabo. It's a pretty good team. Can they get over the hump? We'll see. They have Kyle Rudolph they signed, Roddy Wright, Harry Douglas, so we'll see what they are able to do. 49ers have Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, the 2 best interior linebackers in the league. Mike Iupati, Deshaun Golden, Joe Staley, and Allen Smith. So look how talented this team is. And they went and traded for Percy Harvin. They went and signed Josh Freeman. They have Justin Smith, Frank Gore. This team is really good. They should be in the playoffs. Can they get it together? This team has always been really good, but injuries and poor quarterback play has hurt them. So can Josh Freeman be the guy? And Dirk Cutter, can they be the guys? Giants have JPP and Victor Cruz and Eli Manning. So, number 2 seed last year. We know what they're about. Jags have nobody over 90 overall, and the quarterback is Colin Kaepernick. They still have Blaine Gabbert as well. Really, this team is really bad. The Jets have Todio Cromartie and LaRon Landry. They still have Mark Sanchez, but they went and drafted Jimmy Garoppolo, and the year before that drafted Mike Glennon. So it is a loaded QB room. We'll see what Mark Sanchez is all about, if he can overcome the adversity. Lions have Calvin Johnson and Ndamukong Suh. They have Matt Stafford. They also have Kellen Moore. So the first year of the franchise, Matt Stafford got hurt, and Kellen Moore had to replace him. Kellen Moore played really good. Matt Stafford, if I remember correctly, wasn't amazing. He was good, but wasn't amazing last year. So we'll see what happens there. Packers have Rodgers, Beluga, and Sitton over 90. They went out and traded for Lamar Houston at midseason last year. Needed some more edge rush. This team isn't very deep, but they are top heavy. Panthers have Luke Kuechly, Cam Newton, and Amani Salutulu. Um, good team, good offensive line. Excited to see what this offensive line paired with Cam Newton and the really creative offensive play caller, one of the greatest offensive minds the NFL has ever seen, Adam Gase. Patriots have Gronk, Brady, Gerard Mayo, Vince Wilfork, and Nate Solder. Really good team. It's the Patriots. We know what they're about. And they have Chandler Jones. And they drafted Rhodes close Xavier Rhodes last year. Who did they draft this year? Brandon Cooks. Yes, they did draft Brandon Cooks. Because in the progression tool, he went up to a 90, like 5 overall in his rookie year. So I thought that was really dumb. Last year, their issue was weapons. This year, they have Brandon Cooks. Drafted in the first round. We'll see what happens. Raiders have no 98 pluses, but they have Maurice Jones-Drew, Jay Cutler, Brian Urlacher. I could have swore they signed Ed Reed. Maybe that was last year. Or did the Bears sign Ed Reed? Last year, the Bears signed Ed Reed. Ed Reed's retired now, I want to say. Ed Reed did not retire a Raven. That's all you need to know. Maurice Jones-Drew, Jay Cutler, Brian Urlacher, Khalil Mack were able to draft. The team is pretty good. See what happens. Or pretty all right. We'll see what happens. Not I won't say good. The Rams have Sam Bradford. He did get hurt last year. We'll see. Those are his numbers. But how many games? 10 games. Yes, he did get hurt. No. Oh, they have Tavon Austin, who was really freaking good in his rookie year. As you can see, superstar development. So we'll see what will happen with him. If he can continue, or if his style play being 5'8" will hurt him in the long run. Ravens have Ray Rice, who, let's just say there's going to be some news coming out of Ray Rice here soon. But he's a 97 overall. Marshall Yanda's a 93. Vontae Leach is a 91. Haloti Ngata's a 90. Joe Flacco, 88. Good team. They need a rebound. Travis Frederick, Taylor Lewan. So they really revamped this offensive line. Commanders have Trent Williams, Ryan Kerrigan. We know the quarterback's RG3. Went out and drafted Odell. Danny Woodhead they got from the Patriots. Eric Decker. Saints have Drew Brees and Jermar Bushrod, Jari Evans. So all three are offense. 2 of them offensive linemen. Good team. They went and got DRC. Steve Smith they signed because he got cut when a new has a new head coach, wants to try to compete for a championship at 35 years old, and he thinks the Saints were the best team to do that. Patrick Robinson, Malcolm Jenkins, Kyle Arrington. Good team. Mark Ingram. It's a good team. Seahawks have Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas and Max Unger. They have Russell Wilson as their quarterback. It's a good team. It's actually a really good team. Really good defense. We'll see what happens with them. Steelers have Marquise Pouncey. Quarterbacks Big Ben. They have Jimmy Clausen and David Fales. AB, Max Starks. They have a really deep, good offensive line. Calvin Beachum, Marcus Gilbert on the bench. That's just because offensive linemen are so they're just so juiced up. It's hard to get all of them to play. So Texans, Dwayne Brown, Arian Foster, J.J. Watt. Their quarterback is Geno Smith, and they signed Derek Anderson and drafted Taj Boyd. Good team. Got James Rodgers. This is a good team. Titans have no one over 90. Their best player is Chris Johnson, and they have Carson Palmer and Derek Carr, like I said. Not a great team. Chris Johnson is good, but he can't stay healthy. I think he's played, yeah, 12 games in the past 2 years. So not very good. Then the Vikings have Adrian Peterson, Blair Walsh, Matt Khalil, Jimmy Graham just on the edge there. Their quarterback, Christian Ponder, but they drafted Blake Bortles. Christian Ponder, we'll see what he's all about. He's on the hot seat. Also have Joe Webb, Desmond Trufant. This team's good. Sam Shields, good cornerback duo there. So that is that. That is kind of a league review just to look at everything, try to get everything back to what it was. Who are the top free agents? Let's just check. Sean, yeah, it's gonna be all linemen. All gonna be linemen. Jake Locker unemployed. Brandon Whedon unemployed. Let's see if they ever will play again. Probably not because they both suck. But yeah, that is it's a league review, I guess, just to get us back to seeing what the league looks like. And so I'm gonna, get some stuff done here. I'm gonna edit some ratings. I'm gonna write up some storylines. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see how long I'm gonna actually be able to keep this alive before quitting. If that happens, hopefully not. Let's pray. Um, so peace out.